Doesn't quite look realistic, does it?
No,
You get over here, Don. Let me hold you a moment. I'll get over.
Oh, mercy.
Don, once I get onto it, I'm okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
You want to get that old little cow carving of mine? Let him milk the cow there.
Give me this. Oh, I got a cramp on the hip right now. Okay, wait a minute.
Got it?
Mm.
You want me to
Okay,
get that little cow in there for you to
No,
milk?
this is it. Yeah, give me a cow. Give me that one fast. Okay. But Don was doing it right. That's where you have you lean your head against it. Then you have your kickers. You hook on that side of the leg, then you bring another hook around here, then you tighten the chain. That keeps her. Okay, here's my cow. You ought to get me that fast one too.
The what?
I like that fast
Oh, the
food.
fire.
The fast food one. Look at that.
Give him the one that fell. That
This is
fell
one of
down.
Don's artwork.
That needs milking.
And this is fast food.
Express.
How's that? On fresh for the day. And fresh and fast. That's very good. Okay, thanks. We got those on film. But then as Don was saying, the cat's over there, and you can go like this. And then you can switch it and go. You got to suck fast. Like that. And then you go back to it like this. Then after you get 2/4 front and rear done, then you switch like this. Then you switch that. Then you go back here and do some more. Then you go there. And then after you've got about, then you start stripping. Then you pull down, sort of strip about something like this with your fingers. You get the last out. When the last is out, if you don't, the cows will go dry prematurely if you don't get all the milk. If you leave too much milk, you lost production. Is that right, Donald?
That's right.
So then they'll, milking period is around 8 or 9 months, something like that. Some can get longer. We'd get sometime, our best cows we could get 8 quart, 2 gallons on our best at times. Is that approximately right, Donald?
I suspect so. We
We had
didn't
one-
have high producing cows.
We had one good cow. But some of the others didn't. Then we had one that Dad always milked. She had a little tit, the side of the regular teat. And then when you milk, it would squirt out through your fingers because you had 2 holes working at the same time. And your hand was always wet with milk, trying to get the most out of the one hole rather than the side one. So those were a lot of experience. Meanwhile, remember the flies were blowing everywhere. And the cow's stomping, you're sweating, sweat's running down your elbows, off your face, and the flies, and the cows are stomping at 105 degrees in the old barn. You know.
Sweat dripping in the bucket.
Oh yeah, you always save the sweat.
Add some salt to the milk.
Yeah,
Well,
Now, what about this stool? You didn't tell us on film what's the significance of the stool you're
the
sitting on.
stool is pretty much shot now, but Dad had a sheepskin
skin on it.
over it with the wool out,
Mm-hmm.
and very soft, very nice. And this stool is at least has to be 90 years old because I remember as a small boy. So, and I would assume he made it soon after he was married, which was be 90, over 90, 93 years from now. So I guess that's about when the stool was made. The best milk stool I've ever seen. Others sometimes we had just 2x4s, and they weren't nothing like this. And this has a peg in the bottom too, so it doesn't slide around on the floor. So much for a milk stool. Okay. Now how do I get
This
up?
is the part where you jump up.
I'm gonna kneel like this.
Oh, there you go. Hey,
Well, that was pretty slick. You weren't laughing hysterically this time.
that was kind of sloping
No,
there.
I didn't know
I
that was
don't know
when I
it,
started.
but that I don't know. Apparently, he could have it. You needed a balance there, so maybe that's how he got it. I don't know,
I don't know.
or whether it just happened that way.
It looks like it's flat against there. When you look on both ends, you can see through on both ends, and it's flush.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That's right. So it must have been a design.
I don't know.
But when the sheep would die, then that's when we got a new covering on it.
No. Thanks for supper.
You're welcome.
It's your turn to come our way now.
Here's something to munch on while you're
Oh,
going
my.
home.
Okay.
Okay, why don't you tell us about some of your animal adventures?
Well, animal and livestock experiences, I guess. Of course, reared on the farm, we were used to raising chickens and sheep, and cows, horses, and pigs, and from generation to generation, breeding them and dehorning them and castrating them and grooming them and selling or using them. So I've always had some feeling toward animals. Then, soon after married, when we moved to
Wait, hold on.
to Emerald.
Back up a little bit though. What kind of pets did you have when you were young? Did you ever have any pets?
For my own home, yes, I had rabbits. And my dog, I suppose a dog or a family dog, I can say I personally had a dog. But my own pets, Donald had a coon and some other pets, but I didn't have any of them other than rabbits. And that was for probably 2 or 3 years. But none other than that, no.
Right. And you had your horse that you rode to school.
Had my Beauty, my pony. I guess that'd be my greatest dinner. And we were quite close. I could cut cattle with her, and I hung on well, and she was very fast, very quick. So I was very pleased with the experience with her, and she did well for me for 3 years. Then after we were married, not many animals until we moved to Emerald, and we had the facilities to take care of them. There, first thing we did was have rabbits for one of the boys. We had a dog for Rich, a boxer. Ron, we had some pigeons. They were the roller type that would fly out in a flock, and then up so high they all go into do a 360-degree turn in the air. They called them rollers. And then we had a Jersey cow that we milked for a while. Then we had some goats that we milked. And then we had chickens in the shed out there, as we see them a little later. And I'll talk about that when we go out there. But then after that, we came to Manheim, Pennsylvania, and we brought the horse out. The girls had a riding horse, and they were excellent bareback riders. They would ride at full gallop bareback and hang on, and I was very proud of them. We brought our pony back. Dave had his hunting dog, Joe, so we brought Joe back. Judy had her parakeet pet. I've long forgotten the name of it. And so when we moved to Pennsylvania, we pulled the trailer to bring the pony. We put Joe in one corner of the little Volkswagen. We put Judy's parakeet in the other corner. And that dog, I think, pointed the full 1,200 miles back to Pennsylvania. We wouldn't let him get closer. But he eyed that, being a bird dog, he eyed that parakeet non-stop over the miles. But that helped the children adjust, we felt, and they needed their pets. So we had our pony, and then the pony, we had her bred, and we had several foals, and the girls enjoyed that. Jan was a particular horse lover, and later on had show horses and took Allie to many shows and showing off and riding, and they did very well. It was a real experience for Jan to also live out with all the equipment and the horses they had now, her childhood dreams, so it went very nicely. Then during that time, while we were in Emerald, prior to the move to Pittsburgh, we had our chinchillas. I had an 1820 chinchillas that shipped in from California. That's when they were pretty expensive. And a friend was able to work out something for us, but it was unsuccessful. And we also had not only chickens, we had laying hens. And so we gathered eggs for a hatchery and sold laying eggs that were fertilized for hatching purposes. And concurrent to that, I had started out the beehives. And when we left for Pennsylvania, we had, I think, some 29 hives. that were producing. The honey was very cheap then. I sold then at 12 cents a pound. Now I'm selling it for $2.50 a pound. So that's quite a change for income for getting a return for your stings. And that, so the animals at Emerald were, I should say in Pennsylvania, were limited to the horse and the dog and most of our agriculture experience. And we had calves too, young calves that were Holstein calves. We grew to a certain age, and I'd take them down to the farm, and we'd pick one of those out each year. Dad would feed it free and mostly range, a big Holstein. One of them we grew to, as a steer, we grew to 1,200 pounds plus, and it was so big that it nearly broke out of the trailer. When we did get it to the slaughter place, it was too big for even to hang up. It was too lengthy. They couldn't get their hind feet off the ground when they butchered it. We had it all made into hamburger. We ended up between 800 and 800 pounds of hamburger put in our deep freeze. So we had inexpensive meat for the family. And Mother could make about any kind of a meal out of various varieties of using hamburger. So that's the story of many animals, and the kids took good care of them. I think it was a good thing for them. I may have missed a few, but that's most of them. Then I might mention here that one of my weaknesses is I think maybe it's a strength of time if it can be productive, is dreaming about other projects or something. And when I was in high school, I began to think about getting to college, so I told about the project of the combining. Dad let me borrow the combine, and I started combining. From that it went to threshing, the threshing machine that I got productive. Then when I was in college, I learned to do silk screening. I got well acquainted with Victor Corey, who was then the founder and president of Scripture Press, and he hired me to do the flannelgraphs by silk screening process. So we put up a little printing press in his garage at Wheaton, and I made very good wages doing silk screening while I was a senior in college. It was very productive and helped me greatly with expenses and pull myself through college. And then when I graduated, I think I mentioned that the Massey Harris Company asked me to manage 3 self-propelled combines to the west, and we took those on trucks. And I think I mentioned that I'd have a 14-foot combine header up above me over my cab going down the highway, which couldn't be thought of today. So I did quite well with the harvest with those. Then we came back and I went to seminary, Northern Baptist Seminary, while I pastored the Presbyterian Church in DuPage County, Illinois. And then from there, we took a pastorate in Maxwell, Nebraska, and while there, one of the parishioners and Donald and I invested in breaking up some land in Montana. So we broke up about 1,000 acres, I recall, well over a section, to plant wheat. And at that time, the government placed a wheat allotment on how much wheat you could plant every year. And you could plant, and that was determined on the wheat that you'd planted the former so many years. And a percentage or a factor, that was factored into the acres that you could plant next year. Well, when you break up 600 or 1,000 acres of land, obviously you have no history and no percentage, nothing to factor in. So when we got our allotment, we were allotted the ridiculous amount of 36 acres. And how you come up with 36 acres, I don't know. So that venture didn't turn out very well, and we pulled out of there. And about that time, we moved, I should say, to Pennsylvania. And after there, a year or two, I met one of my parishioners, and we got the idea of building a milk processing plant. Now, milk was separated and sold after it's homogenized and pasteurized by the certified by the state, and sold to stores. But we thought there was a lot of what they call jug milking, little farm stores that they sold milk fresh. But the state stopped that, so it had to be pasteurized. So we took a small milk processing plant, put it on in a 40-foot tractor trailer, and put a diesel motor in. We got the heat for the pasteurizer through the marine manifold off of the diesel radiator, and that heated the pasteurizer. Then the motor ran the generator, which ran a compressor to cool the milk. So we used both ends of the diesel to do our heating and cooling, and we got it certified by the state. We got patents on it from Washington, D.C., and we went from farm to farm, pasteurizing, with state certification, and we bottled it in plastic bags, not a gallon bag, but we had a half-a-gallon plastic bag. Came out, and then we put 2 half-gallon plastic bags in a covering bag, and we put a twist tie on it, so you'd come, picked up a gallon of milk in a plastic bag. It worked very nice when you brought it to the kitchen refrigerator. You snipped off one of the top corners, put it in a plastic pitcher, and it poured out beautifully. It was self-contained. When you were done, instead of having a gallon plastic bag on hand, you rolled up a little piece of plastic and put it in the garbage, and it was gone. So, and we went from farm to farm. I'd have 2 on Monday, 2 farmers that is, and go in and pull the milk out of their refrigeration tank and run it through our processing plant. It would come in through a pipe and come out through an elevator, already plastic bagged and state certified. Then they in turn would sell it right there on the farm at a much better profit than they wholesale at bulk to some cheese factory or milk company. So we'd have 1 farmer Monday morning, 1 farmer Monday afternoon, another farmer Tuesday morning, another farmer Tuesday afternoon, another one Wednesday afternoon. Then we'd start over the circle again. By that time, at the farm, the tanks were full of milk again, and we'd go around and make the second cycle. So we process the farms consecutively, just similar to a thrashing ring, only this is a milk production ring. That went very well. It went nationally on some newspapers, and then went internationally on the Voice of America, and I got invitations, inquiries from some 30 countries all over the world inquiring about it. But at that time, it was the Carter administration. The interest rates was up to 17%, and to build, it cost about $200,000 to build one, then to borrow $200,000 and pay $34,000 interest in a year or 2 before you get it ready. It was self-defeating. So it didn't last long with the interest rates, and I sold my last one to went to. I finally went to South America, went to Florida, then to South America, I think, or somewhere. So that was the end of my processing, but it worked, and very, very well. After that, another patient of mine was interested, and he worked at a potato chip factory, and he told me about how to make potato chips, and he gave me some figures that were entirely wrong, but I didn't know any better. So we went together and built a small potato chip factory, and this is called kettle chips. Now, kettle chip is made entirely different than a continuous chip, which the conventional years past potato chips are made. A continuous chip goes into one end of a kettle and goes steadily along in this kettle and goes out the other end continuously. Continuous chips go in from one end, and continuous chips after so many minutes in the hot oil goes out the other end, called continuous. The kettle chip is we have one single kettle chip, and you drop a batch of perhaps 40, 60 pounds of potato chips in one dump and into the kettle, and the shock of the chip in the oil, change the temperature, change the cooking curve, and then you stir them until they're all done. So you drop them all in at once, take them all out at once versus the continuous. Makes it much crisper, and I think a much chip myself. So we developed that and started a little factory. It burnt down once, we built another one, and then I sold it